daughters. Well, that's all I know.
What city do they live in?
What city? Kagawa. Wait a minute now. It's Kagawa Ken. That's the prefecture, I guess you'd call it. Now, the town.
Are they farmers?
uh, the husband of the husband was a carpenter, but if we asked Linda, she would know what.
Mm.
They still have this farm that they used to grow rice on it, and whether they're still doing that now, I haven't any idea.
T- Tell the story of when you were a small child in the San Francisco earthquake.
I was born in San Francisco, and I believe I was about 4 months old, and living in the Mission District, I believe on 17th Street. So as my dad carried me out of his house, the building collapsed.
Mm.
And then we moved to Palo Alto. And my dad started making handmade shoes, I believe. And we lived in, then my mother passed away when I was 3 years old. She was buried in Alta Mesa, the cemetery that the people around Palo Alto are buried. And my dad is buried there also, my husband.
Mm. How about the internment camps? Do you remember that?
Oh yes. Did you want to? Did you want me to tell you about my childhood days?
Sure. Love it.
Well, after my dad raised me, he never got married anymore, and since he knew how to sew, he made all my clothes for me. And when the first grade teacher, Miss Gillespie, wanted to know who, where I get my clothes, I told her that my dad makes them, and she couldn't believe it. So she and the principal, Miss Van Auken, came to my house and asked my dad if he makes my clothes. So he told them, yes, he makes them. They were really surprised.
Not too many men know how to make clothes.
And he used to fix my hair, braid it so it'd be wavy, and put bows on my head. He even made hats for me. He thought girls should be dressed properly because he was taught that he should dress properly all the time. Maybe the samurais were all taught to be dressed properly. So he was particular about how he was dressed and how I was dressed, and he made clothes for my son. He knew how to make men's clothes and women's clothes. He didn't even use a pattern. He was very fast at sewing, very fast at eating, very fast at doing everything, and he loved to walk. He walked. Uh, he walked quite a bit. And when we were in Palo Alto, uh, I think he had pneumonia or something, and he was hospitalized. And this doctor told him to be sure and take a walk every day. So every night, I remember we took a walk every single night up University Avenue, and then we went to see a friend and got home about 9 o'clock and went to bed.
Hmm. Who was the person who converted you folks to Adventism?
Converted me into an Adventist.
Or was it you first,
Pastor
or
Nozaki.
both you and Grandpa at the
Yes,
same
we
time?
both got baptized the same time and became Adventists.
Was he an itinerant preacher who came down to Mountain View or Palo Alto?
Uh, my husband happened to know Pastor Nozaki before I knew my husband. Pastor Nozaki used to give Bible studies at the Japanese YMCA in San Francisco. And that is how my husband got to know Pastor Nozaki.
Okay, how about the internment during World War II? Do you recall that?
Just 2 years before the Second World War occurred, we had become Seventh-day Adventists. And we had a sign on our door, closed Friday sundown, will open after sundown Saturday. So we went to church every Saturday. And then in the evening we would open the door again and do business. And then we opened Sunday morning, and then we closed at the noon hour. We closed, and then we always went to the beach or somewhere to relax. And we always went to Japantown and had a Chinese dinner every Sunday.
Which beach did you go to?
Oh, the fly shackers, or the beach was, we were only 1 mile away from the Pacific Ocean, and we could hear the animals at the Fly Shackers Zoo from where we lived. We were the first Japanese to be allowed to live in the Parkside district. Orientals were not allowed to live only except in certain parts of the city.
And then when the internment came, where did you go to?
When the internment came, since we were living near the ocean, we had to get ready to leave. Thursday, I believe we got the message, and we had to leave Monday. The rest of the Japanese in San Francisco had 2 weeks to get ready to leave. But we had to leave on a Monday, and we were supposed to go to some desert, I don't remember, but instead we were left off at the largest racetrack in the United States, Santa Anita. And we stayed at Santa Anita for about 5 months because the barracks were not ready in the deserts they had us go to.
So that's in Los Angeles, Santa Anita.
Yeah, somewhere near Los Angeles, Santa Anita.
And did they
We were put in the stables. They were trying to make some barracks for us to live in, but they were not ready. So people from Santa Clara Valley were there, San Diego, and just another couple in our family from San Francisco were there. Do you want me to tell what happened there?
Sure. But let me ask you something else first. Since you were closer to the ocean, living in San Francisco, you were considered more of a threat, so you had to move out sooner. Is that correct?
Yes.
I see.
Now, our customers, two of our customers came to see us, and Mr. Hall said, "I don't think this is right that the government is sending you folks out somewhere. The Germans and Italians can stay here. I don't think this is right." He came purposely to tell us that.
That was nice of him.
And also Miss Galvin and Miss Cusick, who were our good customers, brought us a box of chocolate candy. Then the mayor of our district, Mr. Schiller, brought us suitcases for each one of us. And other people other people around us came to say goodbye to us, and Mr. Schiller said, this war will be over in 2 weeks, so you'll be back here in 2 weeks.
What,
But we stayed, it took 4 years instead of 2 weeks.
what did you do with your belongings that you couldn't take with you?
The Golden Gate Academy principal came to see us just a week before we had to leave, and so we were in the dry cleaning business. We had 2 pressing machines and other kind of machinery to take care of the clothes. And this principal, let's see, what was his name? Oh, my daughter would remember his name. I know his name, but since I'm 85 years old, I forget if I don't say the name often.
Oh, that's okay.
Anyway, he said, I hate to see you lose all this equipment. I have an idea. I am going to get all your equipment transferred to Berkeley, and I'm going to set it up, and I'm going to teach the students how to press clothes, because I had to work to press clothes to earn tuition to go to college. So I will take care of all your equipment and get it over to Berkeley. So my husband thanked him and gave him the Encyclopedia Britannica, and he also had a bookcase made for the encyclopedia, and he also had a large dictionary in this bookcase. So he told this principal to take this whole bookcase with the encyclopedia and dictionary and use it in at the academy. So, and then the Sunday just before we had to leave, Mr. and Mrs. Carlson and another Adventist person came to our home, and they said they hate to see us have to leave all this, our beds and what we had in our house. So they said they will take care of everything, and so they took care of everything we had. Oh, before that, we had our piano stored in the Seventh-day Adventist main church. I think a motion picture camera was stored in the basement of the Seventh-day Adventist church. Other things, our cameras had to go to the police station that was on the next block. And our 2 cars, the Chrysler that my husband had, and he was so fond of that passenger Chrysler, he really cried when he had to give that up. But he sold that to a veterinarian. And then we had a delivery car, Plymouth sedan delivery car, that he gave to the Japanese laundry that we had business with. And then we had to leave Monday morning.
Did you own your home or rent?
No, we just rent, because my husband was not allowed to buy any property, and all the children were still young then. So we didn't do anything about trying to buy property under their name.
How old do you think Uncle Danny was when this all took
He was
place?
only 2 years old when the
Oh.
war came and we had to leave. And Bob had just graduated, my oldest son Bob had just graduated the Golden Gate Academy, and he even had his graduation picture. But he wasn't able to attend the graduation. And so we all had to leave Monday.
How did you eat when you got to Santa Anita Racetrack?